Hello people, in this lecture we're gonna add images to our dishes. But before we get started, here when we create our data table I misspelled a letter here, it's menu, and that's why I've put it in one file. If I used it, I don't know, 100 times, I would have to change it in 100 files, and that's better because it's centralized in one file. Go to the dish VM, create here public form file. This will be responsible for storing our image, and create another property for string, that is image URL. Okay, let's add this image to our view. Go here to edit, create a new div with class m3, label for s4 image, class for label, input file, asp for image id image, and here we're gonna use a method of onChange to preview our image to the user. Preview image and pass the event. Here in the bottom, let's place our previewed image. The ID will be preview. The source, if the dish already has an image, say class image thumbnail style, max width of 300 pixels and max height of 300 pixels as well. Let's create a script here to preview the image. Create a function, preview image, create a constant, reach the onload event of reader, create a function to it, create a const for output, get the element by ID, it's preview, pass the result to my output source, and call the reader read as data URL. The event target files 0. And this should be enough to display our image when the user select. Here I misspelled, it is source, chose archive, and here we have our image, but we have to save that on your application. You can use a service to save images, but now by the moment I'll just save that on my application. But to this form be able to send images to my action, we must add this inquiry type, multipart form data. Now my form is able to send an image. Go to the core of our application, go to the dish. We won't save the image in the dish. We're gonna just save the image path. Create a string here, with image path. Let's say image URL. Let's add an immigration. Select infrastructure. Update database. Now we can go to our dishes controller, the post endpoint, and here let's put all in a try block. If dish image is different from null, we're gonna say the upload folder is path combine to combine the path. We must access our web environment. So let's create a new private read-only field with my iWeb host environment. Let's add this parameter to my constructor. And here I can get from my web host environment, I can get my web root path. This web root path will be the path to my application and to my www root folder. Let's say images and dishes. So we gotta create, we already have images, but let's create a new folder for dishes. Let's create the directory if it doesn't exist. So we're gonna just create it. Let's say file name. Let's create a new gid, new guide, new gid, toString. Let's say file path, our path combine with my upload folder and my file name. Let's now save it using var file stream new file stream with my file path. My file mode will be create. Let's await for my dish VM image, copy to a sink. And after all that, I'm gonna say my dish VM, my image URL is gonna be my images, dishes, and my file name. So when we display the image to the source of my image tag, I will display this link, not my absolute link. I will display my relative path. And now I'm mapping VM to my dish. So this image URL is gonna be saved in the database. Here I will have an expect error because when I map my dish entity to my dish VM, I replace my categories and it will create a new list of categories for me, and that's not what I want. Just select this, quick actions and refactoring, extract method, let's say get categories sync, and after I map my dish entity to my VM, I will get my categories again. Now it must solve this behavior. Let's go to our dishes list, edit. Now I have my categories. Here it's Italian selected. Let's select an image of pasta. Let's save it. Here I have my image, my file name, the length of my file, the content type, all this thing. I have my upload folder, here is my absolute path of my www root folder. The file name, I will create a gid. The file path will be this one. I will save the image. Now I've saved my image and my image URL. Here I'm missing my file extension. Let's get my extension and say file extension path get extension. Let's say dish VM image file name, and here in my file name I'm gonna concatenate my file extension. Let's do this process again. Let's go to the start of it. Here I have my file extension. I'll have my file name, my file path. I'll save my image again. And my image URL now is gonna be images, dishes, and my file name with my extension. Now I'm gonna save, actually update my dish with my image URL. And now the operation occurred successfully. Let's go to edit, and here I have the image to my dish. And that's it for this lecture. I hope you enjoyed, and see you again next lecture.